This is episode 231 of How About That Cigar, recorded live at the Corona Cigar Studio. On this episode, we talk to Micky Pegg about All Saints Cigars and much more. Please take a minute to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Now on with the show.
Corona Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
Well, how about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corona Cigar Studios for episode 231 of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on Instagram, and of course, if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thank you so much for listening to How About That Cigar and making it part of your regular audio podcast rotation. Again, if you guys are watching on Instagram Live, you can definitely watch, but if you want to join in the conversation in the comments, be sure to join us at Facebook or YouTube because we can actually see the comments from those platforms.
And
Thanks
we
for
love
being with
your
us.
comments.
We love your comments.
Every
We
last
love your
one of them.
questions. So here in the Corona Cigar Studios, this I gotta say, I know some people are a little upset. People who love their snowmobiles and their ice fishing. I am not upset at all about the fact.
Not one little bit.
Yeah, this is so the El Nino winter is upon us, and it's like way unseasonably warm. I mean, warm for some of you people. For us, it's crazy
It's heat
warm,
wave.
like 35, 38, 40 degrees.
Today was 46.
46 degrees in late January. That's unheard of for Minnesota. We will take it. I will take it. It's not some global climate catastrophe. It's just El Nino. Take a breath. Everything's fine, and enjoy the warmth because we don't get this very often.
We here in the Midwest can enjoy it, but they're getting a little colder. Temperatures down.
I know.
South of us.
I know.
They're feeling the winter love.
That's all right. Now you can
Suck it.
Now you can see how we live. So the conference championship games took place yesterday.
Did they really?
They did.
Boy, there were some sad people.
I mean, I didn't see the Kansas City Baltimore game. I heard the last little bit on the radio. I watched the highlights afterwards. It looked like a great game, like back and forth.
It was good.
Not back and forth. Actually, Kansas City didn't score at all in the second half, but it was just like a lot of defense.
Yeah.
And
For both teams that were so offensive minded,
yeah,
their defenses shined yesterday. And Lamar had the coolest catch.
Yeah, he caught his own pass.
Got his own pass. It was cool. The one thing I didn't like watching Baltimore is they seemed to get frustrated quick.
I could see that in the highlights. The
Kansas City defense started changing things up. They weren't used to it.
Yeah.
Stuff that came easy to them wasn't easy. So they got frustrated pretty quick. A lot of guys throwing helmets on the sidelines. I've never seen that out of them before.
Yeah, I think they saw it slipping away, and it just pissed them off.
Pretty frustrated.
And then, San Francisco, Detroit. Detroit had that game in the bag. They had it in the bag, but they didn't.
Well, if you've been watching any social media, everybody said it was going to be San Francisco, Kansas City, San Francisco.
Yeah.
If you believe the script.
Yeah, the conspiracy theories. Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good Super Bowl. And I think Kansas City's going to win. They have experience. They've been there before. I think Kansas City's going to win.
So if they do win, well, first of all, let's talk about Brock Purdy. All the trash, all these announcers, and everybody's been talking about him. Yeah. He's a system quarterback. He's this, he's that. He shined. He shined in that second half.
I mean, not only did he, he was able to bring that team back against Green Bay. Then he was able to bring that team back against
The Lions.
And Lions, I mean, that's a 17-point deficit. That's the biggest comeback in the history of the NFC Championship game. And, you know, he's legit. I think he's legit.
I think he's legit. Now they're going to say, hey, well, he had all his weapons. Yeah, that's what they paid him to be.
Right.
They're his weapons.
Yeah. And I think overall, I think Kansas City's defense is really playing out of their minds right now. Yeah. And San Francisco's defense is great too. Mm-hmm. But I just think the pieces that Kansas City has on offense and on defense and the experience level that they have with Mahomes, Kelsey, Andy Reid, I think Kansas City's going to put this one away.
One thing I did see out of the 49ers is their front line is made for pass rushing.
Yeah.
When they started running against them, they looked a little bad on their back of their heels.
Yeah.
They didn't look too good until that second half. And when they started, when they tied the game and they went ahead, then you could see them. They let loose.
Well, and then now the whole debate about Dan Campbell, coach of the Lions, should he have gone for it on those 2 4th downs?
You live by the sword, you die by the sword.
And there's the back and forth, people saying that those decisions cost Detroit the game. I honestly can't say one way or another. I think Dan Campbell is a good coach. And I think the talent that they have in Detroit has a really good possibility to be back near the top of the NFC again next year.
Yeah. But why would he change what made him and that team? That grit that they're going for it on 4th downs all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you dance with the chick that you brought.
Yeah, it's one of those game time decisions. It's one of those in the moment decisions. And whether or not I disagree with those calls in the actual moments that they happened, I appreciate the fact that he stuck to who he is as a coach, and they stuck to who they are as a team. Now, the results may not have played out the way they wanted them to, but I think it felt good, the fact that they stuck to their team DNA by doing that.
Well, let's flip that real quick.
Yeah.
If they would have made it, they'd have been calling him a genius.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and it would have been a whole different story, right?
That's just it.
It's just.
Yeah.
And they get paid to sit around and critique people that are doing it.
Real quick, sports-wise, aside from that, Timberwolves fell to 2nd place, but they're still doing fine. They're injury-wise, they're not in bad shape from what I've been reading. But the highlights of the last 3 or 4 games, they look tired.
Mm-hmm.
They really look tired. And I don't blame them. I mean, it's late into the season. And it's halfway through the season. But I think they're going to be all right as long as injuries don't, get them down. The Wilds still suck. That's easy and quick. The Wild are just really, really struggling this season. And there's some people going out there saying they need to clean house. They need to, they already fired the coach, and now they're saying they need to dump a bunch of money out of the team, get rid of some of the, the money they have in player salaries, and just start rebuilding with a younger, fresher squad.
Seems like we go through this every 4 or 5 years.
Pretty much. And this one hit me too. Speaking of Minnesota sports. So of all the big 4, NHL, NFL, NBA, and MLB, cities that have all 4, did you see this?
Yes.
Cities that have all 4 teams. This is the longest streak without a championship of any city that has all of the big 4. And
did you see that?
I didn't.
It was a full moon on a little screen down there.
Of all the cities and not only does Minnesota have the record for the longest streak without a championship in any of those big 4s, but the next closest competitor is 10 years off.
Ouch.
So
don't do it again.
Minnesota sports. Let's bring Justin into the show.
Hey, Justy Smokes, how you doing? Oh, it's Smoke. Remember, he got on your case.
See, he got on my case about that.
I mean,
I like Smoke.
That's
your name.
I don't know. How's
guys? Justy Smokes every thing as far as cigars and stuff. I always see you smoking all different kinds of cigars.
Okay, yeah.
I kind of stick to a couple labels, maybe 1 or 2 or 3. But you smoke. Yeah, you're a man of the world.
Justin, we know what a huge huge sports fan you are.
Huge.
Absolutely.
So if you who's your pick to win the Super Bowl this year?
Chiefs all the way.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
Think so? Just because of experience?
Because my mom's rooting for him.
There you go.
Nice.
You got to go with
my
mom.
mom's watching football because of Taylor Swift now. So
Hey,
There's a lot of people
I'm
watching
telling you.
football because of her.
I love
People
it.
are hating, but
I love it, man.
Listen to this. I don't know who said it, but it's all null and void. If Detroit would have made it and KC would have made it, they could have made a song. Was that you?
Yeah, I was saying.
Last night?
I was saying last night we were at Red Cigar Lounge in Minneapolis watching the.
It's not Minneapolis.
Oh, sorry, in Red
Wink,
Cigar
wink.
Lounge, and I was saying that if it would have been Detroit and Kansas City, that the NFL it could have been the smartest money they ever spent, and I'm talking hundreds of millions of dollars, and they would make every penny of it back if they would have got Taylor Swift and Eminem to join in with Usher on the halftime show.
oh, there you go.
It would have been that would draw so much. They would make that money back 10 times over.
So
The
you're
NFL would.
saying seats would be like $100,000 instead of 50 or
Well,
whatever.
and all the viewership they'd get, they would be the highest by far.
Oh, yeah.
And even now, even without Detroit being in there, the fact that Taylor Swift being notable in the eye of the NFL fans, bringing new fans in, the fact that she's dating Travis Kelce, I cannot wrap my head around why people are upset about this.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense to me. I say let's bring as many new fans, just like 21 to 35-year-old cigar smokers. Let's bring as many of these new people into this hobby as we possibly can.
So, Matt, tell us where on the doll it hurt you.
Oh, so many places.
Okay.
So it's hard to name them all.
Okay.
But I'll try to break it all down. Maybe our special guest can help me.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Who are those special guests brought to us by?
Well, before we get into our special guest,
I'd like to say hello to our studio guests.
yes. So we have some lovely studio guests. We have Dax. We have Jesus here. So I'm so sorry we cannot see them, but they are. I promise you, they're sitting right over to my right here in the studio for this evening's show. Mystery Whiskey.
Ooh,
So
this is the last one of that little run, huh?
Last one.
And so something is suspect because these little 2-ounce sample bottles, this was only half, so this is only an ounce, and so that
they either shorted you or it's being really good.
well,
right?
it leads me to believe that it's either A, it was the last of the booze in the bottle, or B, it's really, really expensive.
I'm going with
B.
I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go now. The viscosity on this stuff is ridiculous. I mean, this hangs on the side of the glass like crazy. The aroma is incredible.
Let's see that up. Let them see that.
Yeah, let's get this up there.
The viscosity.
Yeah, I mean, look. Yeah, you can see those legs.
Oh.
Look at those legs. I'm gonna get a little taste here. Here we go. Oh my God.
I'm going to tell you right away what it is. It's Ramos bathwater.
It's the first time I've ever thrown up on HBTC Live. This is really good juice right here. I will try to make a few guesses as we go on, but I don't want to keep yapping. I want our guest on the show.
Let's get him in there.
Let's get our guest on the show. And as always,
he's already
on How About That Cigar Live, special guests are brought to us by our friends at Drew Estate. And the latest Freestyle Live event packs are here. Each pack has an MSRP of only $40 and contains 3 mystery premium cigars, a sleek Freestyle Live torch lighter, and a cigar cutter, and a Freestyle Live leather strap keychain. In addition to these premium items, each event pack includes a Freestyle Live badge equipped with a unique QR code that allows the purchaser to enter a sweepstakes for a chance to win extraordinary prizes. The grand prize is a luxury custom pool table valued at $11,500, a laptop valued at $4,600, plus 10 lucky entrants will win a custom Subculture Studio ashtray valued at $150 each. The big reveal of the Freestyle Live Mystery Cigar will be a live event on March 14th. For more information, please visit drewestate.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, put your hands together. Help us out. Welcome back to How About That Cigar Live from All Saints Cigars, Micky Pegg. Brother, welcome to the show. Welcome back.
Pally. How you doing today? He throws his screen.
No, you didn't.
Oh, you got us.
Man, were you cold over there, Mickey?
What do you got on that hat?
Cheese Club.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, I'm wearing my cheese head too. Well, just my Packer hat.
10-hour
So, Mickey, thanks for being on the show again. It's been a little bit since we talked to you. Tell us where you're broadcasting from, what you're smoking and drinking this evening.
I am the All Saints Studio and Lounge here at my house, and I'm drinking Sprite with club soda and water.
Nice. What did you fire up this evening on the show?
I just finished a Roma Craft and Temperance, and I'm doing this.
Hello.
It's one of the very first ones, a couple years old.
Nice. Very nice.
Well, I'm going to show what
Justin.
I'm smoking.
Oh, yeah.
What are you
Raul,
smoking,
what are
buddy?
you smoking?
I got 1919, as always. And going with a dedication from All Saints and Micky Pegg.
I am smoking my favorite, All Saints, St. Francis.
Nice.
With a liquid death water.
Liquid death water.
Yeah, liquid death water.
When you the way you say it, it doesn't sound like liquid death water. It sounds like liquid death water.
Yeah, it's one word.
Liquid death water.
It's canned in Flint, Michigan.
Tasty. It's tasty. I like it. I can crush the cannon.
It tastes like government failure. It tastes like infrastructure failure. All right, I digress. I'm going to light up an unbanded Solamente, All Saints Solamente, lovely cigar. And I'm going to grab our little friend back here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Say hello to our little friend.
Yeah.
That fucking guy.
He's kind of dusty.
Oh, okay.
But that's all right. I'm going to get this guy fired up right now. So let's fire up my cigar on the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Toast Cam. When lighting your cigar, it's important to be patient, pay close attention to detail, and focus on the tobacco. In the same way, Steve Saka brings those same qualities to the ultra-premium cigars of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Patience, close attention, and focus on the tobacco are the qualities that Saka and Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust have become known for. From Sober Mesa to Umbagog, Dunbarton has a blend that will fit your palate, your mood, and any occasion. Visit DunbartonCigars.com to learn more.
Put it on real quick.
What are we doing? Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Mickey fell asleep over there. I don't know what's going on with him.
Whoa.
You okay, Mickey?
Sorry, buddy. We got to pay the bill somehow.
Yeah. So do I.
That's why you're on the show.
All
So,
right,
Pally.
we have that stuff out of the way. Now,
Let's talk.
let's talk. So
Piggy's out.
first off, it's January. We just are, coming to the end of January, but 2023, man, a lot of stuff happened in 2023 in the cigar industry as a whole. I know a lot of stuff happened for you and your company.
Yeah.
So one of the big things was you guys, have a newly developed partnership with McAuliffe Cigars. So, we haven't, I know you've talked about it a little bit before, but we haven't really been able to dive into that subject with you. So it's a very, very cool thing, it seems like, that's going on with this partnership. So talk us through how that all came to pass and how things are looking for the future.
Well, the future looks great, and we're excited. A lot of great things happening with both portfolios. But, from, I don't know, it was like about August of last year, just before that, I was out in Texas, and Dan Thompson and I have always, talked quite a bit in the background. And I guess, why don't you come over and see our, what we have going on? And I was really excited. I really wanted to see the JMac side because I grew up in a manufacturing family. My grandfather was an automotive manufacturer in Florida, and then actually had to sell it just because everything got so centralized with like the Dell kind of model. in the automotive industry. But so went over and talked to him, and I was bitching about what I don't have, and he was bitching about what he doesn't have, and helped him on a couple little things, and he helped me on a couple little things, and like a day later or whatever, he's like, let me run something by you, and what do you think? And he goes, well, what do you think about if we combine our forces, but yet we keep our companies, to ourselves? And I like Arturo Fuente and JC Newman? Something similar to that. And then we had some conversations, and then flew out there. Frank and I flew out there, and we combined sales forces. And we're still our own company. Frank and I still own All Saints, and the McAuliffe family still owns McAuliffe. And from that standpoint, we signed the contracts, and that Monday I hit the streets, and I didn't stop until Christmas.
So tell us how that's affecting the everyday visits. Do you go into shops and just say, hey, you represent All Saints first, and then you go with McAuliffe, or how does that break down?
It depends, because we both had a good amount of accounts, and there wasn't a lot of overlap. So, if it's already a McAuliffe cap, we talk about McAuliffe, and then we talk about All Saints. If it's an All Saints, we talk about All Saints. And if it's neither, we talk about both. So we start with a homogenized story, and then we break out to see what they're leaning towards, and then do it that way. We have some of our own strategies that we're implementing. We're in the process. The final steps. I got two interviews for the Northeast, and then we're also looking at Texas right now, which we need to fill.
Okay. And those first few, because I think it was recent, if I'm not mistaken, that on social media I saw some pictures of basically the teams together, and really kind of collaborating and working on strategy and plans and stuff like that. When you do that, and when everybody's together in a room, how do you guys kind of manage everybody's expectations and between you and the people at McAuliffe, and then the people that are part of the team? How do you kind of work through those meetings in the early stages?
All gas, no brakes.
Nice.
Do what you're told, or go in the parking lot of a Lowe's and get a handyman job. I
love it.
There was some transition, but what happened was there were a couple people that left and went on to pursue some other things, and so we got a fresh team. It's very similar to the team and a concept to the way I put the CAO sales organization together when it was a family-owned business. So, it's going well, and managing expectations. We're asking a lot of these guys this year, because we're both relatively young companies, so we should have some bigger growth than usual. It's you talk about that, and then there's just a lot of things, and then just break it down in digestible pieces so that how they can get to these big goals, or these big, hairy, audacious goals. So it's a lot of fun, and we really have a sharp team that we're putting together right now. We're really excited about it.
So one of our viewers, Dave, asked, when can we see a McAuliffe All Saints collaboration cigar?
That could be fun.
Yeah, I think something, we don't have anything in the works right now. We're just trying to get this piece up.
Right.
I think I'm going to be back down the factories April or May, or I got to look at my calendar. But, it's something fun that we will definitely put together at a certain point. I definitely want to do something, but we have two different blending styles, right? I could maybe consult a little bit on production and stuff like that, because McAuliffe owns their own factory, the Gomez family factory, and that's 100% owned by the McAuliffe family. And, when we're the blending, we kind of keep in two different pillars, and then, we come together when we get done and talk about what we're bringing to market, so we can be a little bit more, more homogeneous when we bring that stuff together, especially like when we're doing, kind of deals and specials that we work with retailers, so it's a little bit more digestible. But yeah, that's we keep talking about something, so it's
okay.
Will you guys be sharing a booth at TPE or
yes,
PCA?
yes, we
Only makes sense, right?
Yeah. So when we were at PCA last year, we hadn't finalized anything because we wanted to look at the contracts and all that stuff. And we just didn't feel comfortable saying anything to the PCA at that point because we didn't want to get out because there was no ink on the paper yet, right? So after the fact, we did it and we called them, which was like almost 3 to 4 weeks later, and they worked really hard to get us in the same booth. So it should be section like one is so we'll have that All Saints personality, and then another part will definitely be the McAuliffe personality.
Okay. So the last, I've always been curious to hear from different manufacturers like yourself about this because
I'm a brand owner.
Well, brand owner,
McAuliffe is a manufacturer.
So, but you have, as a brand owner and even before as a, sales director, CAO and things like that, you've spent a lot of time in the areas of production, in the cigar factories, and whether it was Dominican Republic or Nicaragua.
Right.
I think that's really important because, you obviously can't be down there all the time, but in the last few visits, because I've heard from a couple people, specifically in Nicaragua, that, from a labor standpoint, it's getting trickier and trickier to, get the good people, because there are a lot of talented cigar rollers and tobacco sorters in that area, but the competition is kind of stiff getting the best ones,
right,
on your team. So how do you kind of make sure that that's being managed well from afar, and that the people that you have on the ground there in Nicaragua are really paying, that they're the best people, that they're paying close attention, and are you seeing and hearing about the same sorts of things where it's getting tough to keep the best people around?
Yeah, it's always been that way. What you're seeing now down there too is there's more rolling schools than there were before. Yes, but going down there as a brand owner, you got to go. It's almost like a sales visit. You're only as good as your last visit, right? So that's why you got to go down 5 or 6 times a year to get it right. I mean, speaking of Saka, you've had this thing. He's down there quite a bit too, and that's a pretty reputable organization that he works with, right? So, and he still has to go down there and make sure they're doing it the right way. So you just got to trust your partners, but it's like Reagan was famous for saying, trust but verify. So that's a lot of that doing and making sure that muscle memory's there from the rolling standpoint, because there's all the components of architecture and whatever you do inside that cigar, and putting the right tobaccos in there. So, now from the McAuliffe side, I have not seen their production yet. My next visit, I'm going to see that. But they run a pretty good operation, and it's their stuff is absolutely consistent every single time. So never hear from that at all. So they have a lot of good people. Whether it's the fincas or pre-industry or the factory, wherever these people are working, you don't hire a person, you hire a family.
Okay.
So that has a lot to do with it too. But just making sure everything gets done correctly. Yeah, you got to stay on it. So.
Yeah. And are you seeing good availability of the tobaccos that you need to, consistently produce your blends?
Right now, I do.
Okay.
We're a little bit worried about Ecuador. Everybody's a little worried about Ecuador. Not scared, but worried. I will tell you the Solamente, when I first did the first one, that was actually rolled in 2017. And when I did it again, 2 of the tobaccos were a little bit harder to get, and they're much more expensive than they were in 17.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of that price increase.
Yeah, that's a lot of talk from people that the last few years, they're having to be picky. They're having to spend more time, sourcing and things like that. And it's, do you think it's going to level off though? Do you think it's that the long-term future is in good shape for tobacco sourcing?
I think so. I mean, I'm not on the inside, but I'm close enough to where I feel happy with the answers that we're getting. There could be more worry there than I know about, but I really don't. I talk to enough people that are down there quite a bit, so.
Yeah.
I got a question. Well, I always have a question, but do you think it's from COVID that there's such a want for people, or it's just the cigar industry is blowing up so much?
I'm sorry. What's that now?
Do you think the shortage and the lack
of
people, you think it's because of COVID, or do you think it's just a blow up of the cigar industry?
They're on the border of Mexico trying to get into the United States.
So there's a lot
of
other
reasons
trying to make their way up here.
Yeah. It's been an exodus going on for a while.
And you mentioned something in what was Ecuador? Is that what was going on down there exactly, or you able to?
There's a lot of civil unrest going on right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the bad news. The good news is all the tobacco is growing up in the mountains. It's all cloud shade. So if they're anything like Nicaragua, they're going to leave everybody alone that employs their families.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know the poly side of that too well. But
yeah.
So I'm going to change gears here and make you an extra question. I know you do a shit ton of traveling. You're always going somewhere. You're always popping up somewhere.
Juicy Lucy.
Yeah, baby.
That's my next question. But when you're coming back to Minnesota, but how do you deal with having a family and your daughters and you always being gone all the time? How do you meld that all together and still be as successful as you are?
Well, there's a couple of things that, one, my wife can't wait for me to get back on the road. Two, I mean, we've been together 25 years, 12 of them spent in a hotel room, so maybe that helps a little bit. But, here's the thing. Without getting too deep into my past, I've always kind of had to move around for certain things and move, and I always had a love for travel. And I traveled no matter what I was doing from almost, the first or second year that I got out of college. And on top of it, my wife, she's the oldest of three girls, and she saw her dad when he was making a name and getting a couple shillings, in his pocket. He traveled. Now, her other two sisters never really had to deal with that, right, growing up. So I think me and my wife were both conditioned for it, and I think my daughters have just always seen it. So, maybe when they get married, their partner will, might travel and they'll be, okay with it.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I know that it gets easier as they get older. It's the younger years that it's that I wanted.
I was always building. I've always been building something.
Right.
And, if you get obsessive about it, like you always like, oh shit, Raul's travel with me. Let's go, let's do this. You gotta tell me to eat. Yeah. So, it's you always should be so compelling that nobody ever notices the better person around the corner. So
I like that.
And I'm kind of that way. So, maybe that's part of it too.
I like that.
So next question, when you coming back to Minnesota?
There we go.
I'll be your chauffeur again. I don't mind.
No. Actually, so
I mean, no.
I would say that Jeremy's going to be out there soon. So he's going to help. We just talked today. So Jeremy Ellis, he's based out of Ohio. He's one of our hot shots, and he's one of the captains. I have two captains on the team, and he's one of them. And so he'll definitely be reaching out to you guys when he gets out there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is the camera glitchy, or is it me? Is it my?
You're not sitting still.
No, it looks okay on this end.
Okay.
Yeah, it might just be the resolution on your screen. It looks good here.
Okay.
So this past year, we've seen some scheduling changes, sort of that we've sort of grown accustomed to in the last half dozen years or so in the cigar industry. And this year,
30 years, 30.
Yeah. So this year we got to change things up a little bit. And how, being the fact that the last PCA trade show was in July and the next one is basically in 60 days, less than 60 days away.
Less than 60 days, yeah.
So how have you guys had to kind of adjust things as a company to, prepare for that?
All right, so I guess there's two answers for that. So I'll speak from the All Saints. If I forget to talk about the Macau, let me know. From an All Saints point, what happened was we immediately, when there was rumor of this, we immediately moved our production schedule, right?
Okay.
So with that said, is we have a line extension and a new line coming out. We might be able to show it at the show, but it's not going to be out until July.
Yeah.
And that had to do with me being a little distracted from the factory, a little bit, trying to charge and get this new team of shepherds out there, to bring stuff to market. So, from the cow side, they immediately went it over, and they're going to be coming out with the blue, and it's still going to be the same price range, $8 and $9 Robusto Toro, and it's delicious. I believe it's a Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, which
nice.
Is very exciting.
Yeah, so, Sumatra has been one of my favorites for a long time.
There's a lot of intangibles, like from the standpoint of what is this going to do? So let's talk about the last couple of years at the big show. The big four wasn't there. They're coming back. So I think that's going to put a little pressure on your medium to smaller companies. But optimistically, we're going to have a really good turnout and with people ready to spend some money.
Yeah.
And, the overall theme that I've heard from retailers is that it's they're very excited to go there. So we'll see how that all pans out. Right now, today, we have a huddle call every Monday. And what we did is we championed all our sales team to go out and make phone calls and see who's going to be there, who's not going to be there. And we have a really interesting format on how we identify those people and talking to those people. So it's pretty much your top accounts that are moving the most amount of product, and then setting up that scenario for making sure that we get in front of them or they're attracted to the booth, for the show.
Yeah. Well,
what did Al Rubin say? Being Mickey's chauffeur is not as fun as it seems. He likes to leave early in the morning and go back to the hotel late. It's called work, motherfucker. He doesn't go to sleep until 3:00 in the morning. I don't know what the fuck he's bitching about. You want to be the second Alan Rubin that makes $71 million? Get up early. You turn on the coffee pot in the morning, and you turn off the lights when you leave.
You done?
Stop. Go ahead.
Raul's twitching. He's having flashbacks from when he traveled with me.
Do you need a hug?
No.
Okay.
Piggybacking off your question, how are you managing the TPE and PCA so close together?
Oh, yeah.
How are we managing it?
Yeah. Are you finding any difficulties on doing it, or
no? So we're in the pavilion for the TPE. So it's almost really like setting up a mini retail shop with just your products and sell sheets, and you kind of know who's going, not going, and it's we'll see. I'm curious to see how we'll do. I know what our number that we did for both shows last year from All Saints. McAuliffe will be there. all the branding's going to be All Saints because they decided to come at almost the last minute, and Alan Rubin's going to be there, and Lauren from the McAuliffe side. Well, they were both, but they're going to be there helping us with the McAuliffe as well. So
yeah, it's
I don't know. I mean, I guess I just didn't give you an answer, and I apologize for that. But
no, I mean, I think the answer you gave is legit. Basically, meaning we'll kind of find out. It's a different scenario that we're in this year than we have been for a long time.
Yeah. So if you go to TPE Vegas, Google that, you can go into that website and get to the floor plan, and you can kind of see. And if you click on the pavilions, they'll show you the list of people that are going to be there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that aren't going to be there. They're in the past. And I understand why they're not going, because it's taken away from them planning the PCA, which is a lot more, it's a lot more intense, with the booth and the things that you do that I'm just using that as an example, and getting them ready, so, that's why my sales team is not worried about TPE except for the two that are going. That's going to represent the company, because they have that bandwidth and capability to do that, as well as prep for PCA. So right now, today we kicked off. We have a timeline that kicked off today of everything that we want to do between now and actually the first game day there. So, like I said, for 2 weeks, they're going to be reaching out to the top customers in a formula that we designed, and then we have a touch campaign of what we're doing, to find out who's going to be there and nestle in appointments. Appointments at PCA, and you guys have been to enough trade shows when you're trying to do your interviews, and we want you to do the interviews, and it doesn't always work to do it before and after the show, but during the show, is that to make appointments. And what happens is when you make appointments, even the people that don't make it on time, it puts in the back of their mind to be conscious to get into that booth.
Right. So
it's going to be a little interesting to have to compete time-wise with the Big Four again.
Yeah.
So, they got rid of that last half day, which a lot of people bitched about.
Mm-hmm.
But when as a young company, I always liked that half day because I always signed up a couple of accounts and we had one whale order on that day.
Right.
Hey, oh shit, got to do this, got to do that. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to make adjustments. I think some retailers are even going to make some adjustments as far as I have already heard from a couple of retailers that in the past have gone to both the TPE trade show and the PCA trade show. And this year they said they're only going to go to the PCA trade show.
So the underlining theme that I heard, in the fourth quarter of 2023 is like, hey, I don't really have it in my budget to have a spend to go out to PCA and then 9 months later do it again.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we'll just wait for 2024. So I heard that a lot too. So, yeah, I understand. Now, with that said, there's a lot of big West Coast guys that are not going that can drive there. I was surprised that I've talked to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which I was like, oh, okay, can we do an order over the phone?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think my early prediction is that PCA numbers are going to be up.
And TPEs will probably be down.
I hope so.
Too.
Yeah.
I think TPE, you have most of your head shops and everybody has all the other THC products and stuff
Correct.
like that at TPE. So it's a whole different retailer,
Correct.
to that versus when they can go to PCA, it's just a cigar, stores or shops or whatever.
Right.
Seems like that demographic's going to be more pertinent or more visible this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of those smoke shops out there that have all the vapes and all those pieces, but they have a decent walk-in humidor.
Absolutely.
They might have one chair in there at most, and it's a solid cash and carry that anybody would be happy to. Almost any brand would be happy to be in there. So hopefully we'll have some of those there. Quality people that have mixed both those worlds.
Yeah.
My question is. Usually when PCA is in July, from a retailer's perspective, we have all summer to make that money up to go to PCA with a nice chunk of change.
Right.
I wonder how that's going to affect having it in March. Because, July and February, January and February are some of the slower times.
You're talking like retailers having available capital to make.
They need some time to build the coffers.
Yeah.
So I've had a couple conversations with a couple people that I highly respect. And, another underlining theme is I've heard, people that are either a manufacturer or a brand owner is that if you're looking at credit cards are all maxed out around the United States for the most part, right? So, what does that mean? That means they're maxed out. How are they going to charge it? How are they going to pay for it? So there's no credit, and we know how many people, leverage their credit card to pay their bills.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And the way things are now, I promise I'm not going to jump on a soapbox, but the cost of living right now is just, it's tough for everybody, and if somebody's got a small town cigar shop, and they're just trying to keep their mortgage paid and their lights on.
Yep.
And it's tough right now. So it's people have to make some tough choices, I guess, these days, and hopefully things will straighten out a little bit from a inflation and a available capital standpoint.
What might help is, like Mickey said, his cigars are not going to come out to these new cigars. Somebody might buy the line until July.
Correct.
So that gives them time, and most companies don't charge until they ship. So that might help some shops out.
Yeah.
What's interesting is I got an email. These TPE fucking emails that you get that are from rogue people trying to sell you lists and shit.
Yeah.
But I got a really interesting one from Sezzle. Have you ever heard of Sezzle?
I have. Yeah.
They said, "Do you have time to talk to me?" I said, "Yeah." So I want to hear what they have to say, how they structure that, because, if we can help them grow their business and take that stress off, that might be something that we'll be able to do. So I want to hear what they have to say.
Are they like mostly like Southeast from what I'm not.
No, they're pretty. I actually ordered on Sezzle in a firm on accident and didn't know I did it.
Okay.
And what it is you can pay in 3 months, 6 month, 12-month increments.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And so I want to see what the guy has to say. So
yeah,
it's worth a shot.
I'll learn something. I'll at least learn something.
Well, then, kind of longer term, as we look ahead, and I know you got to sort of keep your head in the game for now, but you're always looking beyond. And from a monetary standpoint, when we look at PCA 2024 at the Las Vegas Convention Center in March, and then in April of 2025, moving to New Orleans, I've heard from some companies that are saying it's really a huge expense because they have, they keep a lot of their stuff in storage in Las Vegas, so they got to pay to have that stuff. Either they have to have all new shit made, or they have to pay to have the stuff from Las Vegas put on a truck and hauled all the way to New Orleans. How do you, as your company, how do you guys deal with that? And is it as a burden as much as some other people have told me that it is?
No, because of our size and what we've done in our booth so far, right?
Okay.
So with that said, from what I understand, is this was supposed to happen. This year should have been a New Orleans year. But the big guys pushed back and said, "Hey, listen, we already have contracts with our storage facilities that, have the basic grand infrastructure for our products, not our products, for their booth. And, we already had put it into our 5-year forecast. When you get that big and you look at something and you invest into something like that, you're looking at getting 3 to 5, 6, 7 years out of at least the bones or the backbone of that, of your booth.
Yeah.
And you can just refabricate it with, other kind of pieces. Yeah. And I know Rocky was one of them. We talked quite a bit. So,
yeah. I mean, their booth's been the same for a long time, but it's very involved. There's a lot of, those museum sort of display cases and things like that scattered throughout the booth space. And
yeah, the towers. Actually, we were the first ones to do the towers when CAO was family-owned business.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and we didn't get towers this year just because I like the towers, because you could really not get blurred together and have a conversation and tell the story about each one of your lines, So,
oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Me, I have a story about the company. I have a story about the product. I have a story about the Vitola. So.
No, that's good though. And that's actually kind of brings me into my next question. It's kind of, it's not kind of, it's directly related to in-store events. And everybody, I mean, any city center that's even medium sized, whether it's, you look across the country at, some of the larger cities, Atlanta, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, Detroit, Milwaukee, Kansas City, and just name a few kind of from the Midwest area. But when you guys, you yourself and as a company, when you talk about in-store events, what is the number one kind of goal as a company? Aside, I'm obviously you want to sell as many cigars as you possibly can, but there's, some people have put a lot of emphasis on stuff like hats and t-shirts and cutters and lighters and t-shirt and swag and stuff like that. But other people have put focus on relationship building and name recognition, stuff like that. So when you put together store events, what's the philosophy that you try to stick to?
Yeah, that's tough because it's been something that we've been working on for quite a time. Is how do we do something different and more experience or oriented? And it's been tough for us. What I can tell you is there's 3 types of retailers out there. When it comes to the actual event, I'm not talking about how involved and how much effort they put into it. That's all over the board. But you have retailers that are swag heavy. Mm-hmm. You have retailers that are no swag, and then you have people that like to blend it.
Okay.
Like if you look at Sessions in Middleton, Delaware, they they like swag, but they know how to blend that with the free cigars, right? And they always find a way to make stuff happen, for the consumer. And so, yeah, we've struggled with that a little bit. When you started going down this road with this question, I'm like, oh, all right, well, how much do I really say? And I will tell you that it's tough for us. We're finding that way to be different and have the sizzle, and the sexiness that it needs to happen. Because there's a lot of great cigars out there that have been branded great, and with teams that are out there hustling their ass off, right? So, how are you different? So we've struggled with that a little bit. I'll be honest.
And I have to say, I appreciate that you brought up the retailer, because I've really tried to get, because we do have some retailers, large and small, that watch and listen to this show, and that's something that I really agree with you on, is that it's, the retailers say they have a certain expectation for this in-store event for your brand, but then sometimes they say that with their words. They say, I have these expectations, but then they don't put in the action and the effort to really make the most of that event, whether it's grilling burgers or having, games, in the parking lot or whatever for people to do. And those events sometimes fall flat, because I believe that half of the responsibility for a successful in-store event is on the retailer. It's not just on the rep or the brand owner who happens to be there for it.
You have to work together.
It's them, training their consumers.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't, a retailer will say to me, I'm not a brand maker. I'm like, that's fine, but you should be a consumer gatherer, So put it on me to sell it, but you got to get the people there, right?
Yeah. And
it's more than having a raffle. It's more than buy this, get that free. It's more, cut and light or a full-on event. What are you doing to be attractive? Or there's the retailers that like every other week have to have something going on in their store. And I'm like, why? This is not where the pieces of the pie are bigger than the pie. You're diluting the pie, right? So there's a lot of incidents that where you can deal where the pieces are bigger than the pie, but not in that sense. I saw that from the very beginning in my old days. We should do this every month, and then we should do this every week. And I'm like, no. Your consumer the retailer's consumer gets event fatigue. I don't care what you got going on, they do,
Yeah.
It's just like people get social media fatigue.
Oh, yeah.
My people, there's Mike Dove, who was on here a little bit earlier. I don't know if he's still on. But, he's like, listen, you got to lay off every now and then a little bit. He goes, let me do the stuff that talks about the company, but you have to give people a chance to breathe, So
yeah.
What do you think about too many events? You start training your customers just to come in and spend money that time, and
instead of making it like part of their weekly, cigar buying habits. Yeah. They're
waiting for the deal, So,
yeah.
And then what it is, then you're at a race to the bottom on margin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and that's tough. It's like it's so funny when I was in the financial world, everybody would what's the whole thing is sell high and buy low, right? That's what the normal consumer thinks, if you want to say it from that standpoint. Well, you do that over and over again until you're out of money, because it just erodes. There's a capital erosion that happens there.
Yeah.
So.
And just for the record, Dak, he does an excellent job with swag. I appreciate the cufflinks, by the way, Mickey. I still have those beautiful things.
Yeah. That's cool.
Now you just got to get a proper dress shirt that uses cufflinks.
I have one.
He has one.
It doesn't fit me, but I have one.
But he doesn't have collar stays.
Oh, you got to get collar stays, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll fix you up. Yeah.
I'll thin out your jowls a little bit.
Maybe we'll wear like full-on suits to PCA this year. I'm joking. I'm not going to do that.
Maybe I can grow a beard and hide my jowls.
You can't have a beard though. Not until you retire.
I mean, you can have some of mine if you like.
yeah. Justin's got plenty of beard.
Raul just puts some milk on his face and lets the cat lick it off. That's all.
Oh,
okay.
I love it.
It's the only way he gets pussy on his face.
Oh,
don't make me be a professional, fucker.
Juicy Lucy.
Don't you start with me.
All right.
What do you think that whiskey
so
is?
I only have like a few drops of this mystery whiskey left. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
So what do you think it is?
Don't do it again. The camera's on.
I have a hard time.
Here's my whiskey of the night.
Hey, I'm proud of you, buddy. I'm proud of you for taking a month off.
Hey.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, I love it.
I drink some root beer out of
that. I mean, I'm really not good at guessing these things, but this I like it a lot. It feels like it's got a higher than average amount of wheat in the mash bill, but not
wheat or weed.
Wheat, WHEAT.
Mickey, Mickey, what's your favorite beverage when you do consume alcohol?
Bourbon.
bourbon. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way to go.
Dirty water.
WLW.
No. Actually, I forgot.
William LaRue. You forgot? Well, look it up.
Hey, Dax, what is it?
Oh, I guess Dax is our person.
Oh, so you were the.
I knew it. That's why he's here tonight. I knew it.
It's really
cake.
Whatever this is, it's really good.
It's birthday cake.
2016 Old Forester birthday bourbon.
Okay.
It hit me right in the feels because you know that I'm an Old Forester whore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is good stuff.
We want to thank you for doing that too, Dax.
Yeah, thank you, Dax. Really appreciate it with Dax. So Dax was the mystery benefactor all these weeks with the mystery bourbons. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I think it's.
Is it time?
I think it's time.
I think.
All right, guys, it is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. And as always, Numero de los Muertos, brought to us by our friends at Smoke Inn.
I will take 2 egg rolls and some fried rice, please.
I know it makes me hungry for Chinese food every time I see that. All right. Numero de los Muertos, episode 231. This is another one of those this week. The number is 1.
1.
It's a it's basically a one-off freak accident with a very, very specific cause of death.
Are animals involved?
Animals are not involved.
Come on, Mickey, join in here, buddy.
It's on land.
It did occur on land. Yes.
What's the question again?
So this is Numero de los Muertos. So this is one person died from a very, very weird, freakish cause of death.
The guy got a stingray in his heart tail.
No, but I got to remember that one for the future.
The alligator hunter or something.
Yes, Steve
Crocodile
Irwin. Yeah, Steve Irwin. No.
Food related?
Food is not involved.
It's like we got the Castle crew in the house.
So this it happened in France.
Oh, so it's actual fact, not fiction this time?
A very, very long time ago. This is actual fact. It's not fiction. It happened in France.
France, huh?
Choked on a crate.
Oh. No, it's not that.
Burned by French fry oil.
No, not burned by French fry oil.
No.
You ever see Better Off Dead? French fries, French bread, French dressing. I want my $2.
Oh shit! Now I'm gonna have to go watch that movie again. I love that movie.
You know what I downloaded for? I always download a bunch of shit just in case I get stuck somewhere because it happens quite a bit. Blazing Saddles.
Oh, I just watched that again.
You couldn't make that again. You couldn't make that now.
You couldn't make that movie today.
Mm-mm.
One of the funniest movies of all time.
How about hit by a scooter or fall off the Eiffel Tower?
Not a scooter, not the Eiffel Tower.
How long ago was it? 1700s?
This was not quite 100 years ago.
No, so what was the question again? Say it again.
So this one, I'll say this was a young woman who died in France not quite 100 years ago from one. We're looking for the cause of death. It was one freak accident And we got to play 20 questions to get down to the meat of the cause of death in this freak accident.
She choked on her merkin.
No.
She stepped on her beard.
She did not. No, that was a dude that stepped on his beard and died.
Is it weather related?
Not weather related.
Accidental guillotine?
Oh, no.
What about
she blew herself out on a bidet?
No.
Not a wine cork by death?
Not a wine cork, no.
Choked on a crate. The cork soaker. You like the cork soaker?
She's so good at soaking the corks.
Is it wine related?
It's not wine related.
Is it food related?
Not food related.
Is it a workplace accident?
No.
Recreational activity?
No.
No. She hit by something?
No.
Hit by a rock? Sports?
Not sports.
Alcohol involved?
It's unclear.
Does it have to do with weapons from Alan Rubin?
No weapons.
She tripped in the Louvre.
Nope.
Is it royalty involved?
No royalty.
There wasn't royalty 100 years ago, was there?
France.
Yeah, I think so.
In France?
I think France still had like.
We're talking about 1924.
Yeah,
Napoleon was the last, right?
I suppose, yeah.
Trampled by a horse?
No horses, no animals.
No animals, no crates.
Eaten by a French bulldog?
Not eaten by a French bulldog.
Is water involved?
Water is not involved. This is on land.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say the Seine. I was like, yeah.
Buried alive.
Not buried alive. Trying to think of another.
A hint. Let's get another.
She died in one of the catacombs.
There's got to be more than one person dying from the catacombs.
She stripped.
Yeah, people. Well, they say people die all the time. They get lost down there.
Yeah.
So I'll say.
Tripped and stabbed with a metal straw.
I'll say this young woman was known for wearing very long scarves.
Oh, she hung herself.
She didn't hang herself.
She on accident.
No,
she didn't.
Her scarf got caught, and she got.
Not a fall.
Was there a wood chipper involved?
No wood chippers.
Did this scarf get caught in something?
In a carousel.
Choked by a car door, no, but a car was involved.
So her skull.
Oh, she fell out of the car. The door slammed and choked on the freaking scarf.
Yes, that's it. Is that
honestly,
that's
Mickey?
close.
That's pretty much. All right, so here's. I'm gonna give that one to you, Mickey. All
nice
right,
job, Mickey.
I mean,
so
Jesus said choked by a car door, but
that's
Mickey's got it.
Hey,
well, I think he said choked by the car door. I think his intent was the scarf got caught in the car door.
Yeah.
So Isadora Duncan, in 1926, she was known to wear long flowing scarves that would often be seen fluttering behind her in the wind. On this fateful day, her friend picked her up in his convertible car. As they sped off, her scarf became lodged in the open spoke wheel of the vehicle and wrapped itself around the axle. Isadora was yanked from her seat and dragged for several meters behind the car before the driver even realized what had happened. She died instantly from a broken neck.
So I'm immediately going to go to vacation.
Yeah.
With the dog?
With the dog.
Poor dog probably kept up with you for the first couple of yards. And the grandma was dead on the roof?
Yes. Oh. So if you're in a convertible, take your scarves off and, put them in your purse or,
where's the skull from?
Yeah.
If I'm in a convertible, shoot me. Don't tell my wife that I was last seen in a convertible.
All right. So that was this week's
Numero de los Muertos. I wanted to ask him a question. I forgot what it was. Remember?
It'll come to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll come to you. Let's jump into the lightning round. Brought to us by J.C. Newman Cigar Company, America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and the American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 113-year-old El Reloj Cigar Factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. All right, Mickey, since you've been on the show before, we have some fresh lightning round questions. First off, what do you think is the best movie remake and the worst movie remake?
The best movie remake. I don't know. I can't think of anything. I'm not good at these two. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
We'll throw a couple out there and you agree or disagree.
Okay.
True Grit. Did you see the old John Wayne True Grit?
I didn't see the new one.
Oh yeah.
How about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Okay, you know what? That's what I was trying to search. I think so. It's the second remake that's out right now, right?
No. Well, that one's my
Johnny Depp did one, and then there's another one.
Yeah, the one that's out right now is actually not a remake. It's like a prequel.
Oh, okay.
The old one.
So Gene Wilder is the best Willy Wonka.
Oh yeah, by far, definitely the best Willy Wonka.
I think Teresa says your favorite.
And his son's done a good job.
The Footloose remake. I regret watching that Footloose remake. It was such a steaming pile. It was terrible.
I think Kevin Bacon peaked in the first one.
Yeah. All right, this is a weird one, Mickey, but I'm really curious to hear your answer. If you could swap out your legs for the legs of any animal, what would you choose?
Of any animal?
Yes.
Probably a gorilla that I can hang from a tree.
I like that. I like that.
Built like that.
You guys are going to have words next time. When we go to PCA, I'm going to let you and Mickey have some quality time.
That, dude. We get along great when we're together. It's nonstop fucking bickering back and forth. I love him. You should have been in the back of the pickup truck when we were driving around. It was fucking great.
Oh, man.
All I wanted to see was the world's biggest snowball. What did I want to go see?
No, we went to see Prince's thing.
Yeah, but I wanted to see the world's biggest something.
No.
Like
the walleye?
No.
Paul Bunyan?
No, it was like something in the downtown they're having a festival for.
It wasn't the big spoon with the cherry on it, was it?
No.
I can't remember that one. But I took you to Gorky Park or Paisley Park.
Yeah. I love St. Peter.
That's a nice little town down there, ain't it? You had a good time down there.
I did. You guys just laughed.
Well, you did polish off a fucking bookend of Knob Creek.
Dude, I was the only non-sober people there, and they kept making me drink. I was like their entertainment. Drink for me, monkey boy. Like, like the dancing monkey on the sidewalk.
And the hour-and-a-half ride home was priceless. You remember any of that?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, sure.
Next question. The next day, and you were still talking to me.
Yeah. You want Justin to do his question?
I think he's already got
that. I think Mickey's. Okay. We've given you the zombie apocalypse question before, haven't we?
Maybe. I probably forgot though.
I can't remember if you've had the zombie apocalypse.
All right, well,
you do yours, Raul.
What is the worst and most overrated and underrated fast food franchise?
Most overrated and underrated. Underrated would be Cava. Overrated, In-N-Out Burger. Though I like them, but I think that's, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't dislike In-N-Out Burger, but I was when I was taken there by Emmett from Blind Man's Puff, who was like, this is gonna change your life. It's gonna be the best burger and fries you've ever had. And I was like, it's good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
So Mickey, tell us about that Castle Crew banner you got behind you.
I got to frame that, but no, the Castle Crew. I think a couple guys are on right now.
They are.
It's Dan. I keep wanting to say they're Chicago based. They're not. They are a bunch of guys that I hang out with. At the Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest. I started hanging out with them then, and then got on their whereabouts. I think the guys are just very supportive and just a blast. And for me, it's like going to that crew, and I get to talk to a bunch of guys. But that crew is a little bit different, where I feel like I'm in my local bar, the Men's Grill or something like that. We just get on there. We geek out a little bit, then we just talk about other stuff, and and if I'm home for an extended amount of time, I get to just hang out. Sometimes we're on until 3:00 in the morning doing stuff and talking or whatever. Especially like if I've had grinding, getting numbers to work, trying to get the fucking printer to work. It's always nice to get on with those guys. So I'm going to bed early tonight. Well, early-ish, because I got a flight tomorrow morning.
And what is your favorite cigar festival you go to? That was a question.
The biggest tie is probably the Great Smoke and Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest. They're run completely different, but the people that go to both of them are absolutely awesome. The people that run both of them are absolutely awesome. The staff of both of them, are awesome. It's just I'm saying awesome like a freaking 1980s teenager again. But those are probably, and there's some other ones that are a little bit smaller that are great too. There's some that I know that are fantastic that we haven't had a chance to be a part of yet. So
yeah.
But both of those, I was there in the beginning when they started it, and when they were like kind of pitching it out, and it was still in, just kind of putting it together. It was an infancy, where everybody's like at a full table. Now you got tents, you got, Saka doing meat things and dinners and, all kinds of stuff.
Well, I'll echo what Dax here in the studio said. So we got to get you 2 cigars in baseball, and it's here in St. Paul, Minnesota, and September 14th, and it's actually at CHS Field where the St. Paul Saints play baseball, and absolutely incredible event. All of it, and it's all for charity for the Miracle League that makes baseball facilities for kids with disabilities.
I'd love to do it. I actually threw out the first pitch at PNC Park.
Nice.
The year that they had the All-Star game, when they just opened and you could smoke there.
Oh, that's awesome.
If you can find the picture out there, I can't find it right now, but there's a picture of me out there where I threw out the pitch. I have a BlackBerry on my hip, a cigar in my mouth, and I'm wearing a CAO polo. And the funniest thing is, like, everybody commented, you couldn't take the BlackBerry off your hip. So then they take a picture of that. They give it to my grandmother, and she thought I was a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And you try to correct her, and all my uncles were like, "Just don't worry about it. Just let her cut all the blue hairs, So,
well, let's jump into this week's notable smokables. Notable smokables brought to us by Don Doroteo Cigars. Don Doroteo is a brand with both purpose and passion, dedicated to creating change from within. By developing their own land, they are able to own the entire process throughout the life cycle of the plant. They methodically carry out each step, ensuring that the final product is of the finest quality. The new Salt of the Earth lines, Piedra Viva and Piedra Angular, are available now at Don Doroteo retail partners. Visit dondoroteo.com to learn more. All right, so Mickey, each week we name a cigar on the show that we smoked recently that was notable to us. Now, this could be a cigar that's been on the market for decades that we just smoked for the first time in a long time, or this could be a cigar that's been on the market only a short time that we smoked for the first time ever. Obviously, you're smoking mostly your own stuff, but if you get a chance to jump outside your portfolio, is there anything you smoked recently that stood out to you?
Just before I came on the show, the Romacraft Intemperance.
Yeah, really like that one. Raul, what about you? What's your notable this week?
Mine is Blackworks Flora de Caesar.
Oh, yeah. I got it. We'll find a guy that has those. We'll buy more of those. Justin, what about you? You're notable this week.
I'm going with the Blackworks Studio also, but the original Green Hornet Cato that we got in Ohio, probably about, 6-7 years old. Those original ones we found at Fisherman's Wharf.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I still got a couple of those, but those are really tasty. That you see on the Candela wrapper. It's super faded now. It doesn't look like Candela anymore, but it was really good.
Nice.
How many you got left?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, he says. My notable I smoked during the Lions-Niners game yesterday. The Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Muestra de Saca Krakatoa. Really nice cigar. It's not what you would expect, at least in my personal opinion. You know, you hear the name Krakatoa, you think, volcano. This is going to be a super strong cigar, but that cigar is medium bodied and nuanced, and a lot of stuff going on. It's not just power in that cigar. It's got a lot of fun, cool stuff going on in that flavor profile there. So then let's jump into coming attractions. We have some very cool stuff coming up on the show in the next couple weeks. Coming attractions brought to us by AJ Fernandez. Born and raised in Cuba, AJ Fernandez now produces unparalleled premium cigars in Esteli, Nicaragua. The AJ Fernandez portfolio of cigars provides blend strength and flavor profiles to match the preferences of any premium cigar consumer. Whether it's New World, Dias de Gloria, San Latano, Enclave, or Bellas Artes, you are sure to be satisfied with a premium cigar from AJ Fernandez. All right. Coming up next week on February 5th, we have Nate Beck from Boveda. He's going to be right here in the studio live with us. And on February 12th, we have Ian Reith from Dapper Cigar Company. So, Mickey, thank you, first of all, so much for being on the show again. We really appreciate it, brother.
Couple of great people there.
Oh yeah. We're so excited every time we get to have good people like you and these other guys on the show, man. So if you would please give our viewers and listeners an idea, where is the best place for them to keep up with everything you have going on with All Saints Cigars?
Not in Minnesota. No, the great people like you guys, obviously. Our website is still under a little bit of construction. But one of the best places is on our Instagram at All Saints Cigars, and on Facebook at All Saints Cigars and All Saints Cigars Crew, Krewe. Also, you can look at McAuliffe's at McAuliffe Cigars and McAuliffe Ambassadors. So we're kind of cross-pollinating everything going on, whether it's an All Saints event, McAuliffe event, or co-branded. Mike Dove, our marketing partner, does a great job of getting my stuff and getting the posters up on Facebook.
Nice.
And Instagram, I'm sorry.
Well, Mickey, thank you, man, for being on our show again, and we're looking forward to seeing you in a couple months in Las Vegas.
Thanks.
Couple months, couple weeks.
Yeah, it's
next month.
Yeah, it's
still in January.
Okay,
but yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, it's 6
weeks.
In Mickey World, days,
Mickey World, it's
weeks or days for him.
He never
stops.
Yeah.
He never sleeps.
Never stop. Thank you, brother.
Yes, no break.
Thank you, brother. Love you, man.
Love you guys too. Especially you, Raul. You sexy.
All right, viewers and listeners, guys, thanks for being a part of How About That Cigar Live. We really appreciate you watching and listening to episode 231. Take just a minute, please hit all those buttons. Click on the like button, the subscribe button, the follow button, the happy dance button, any of the buttons that are good.
Just hit them on.
Just hit all those buttons.
Appreciate it.
We really do appreciate it. It makes a difference for us. If you have any questions for us, you can email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Be sure to follow us on all your favorite social media platforms at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, Burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys. Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.